So Maria, thank you and welcome to Cultural Lifestyles. Come up with conversations and platforms that we can talk about our differences, but yet our commonalities. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule since you've been here to have a conversation with me about your experience for the past 8 or 9 months here in the United States, specifically here in Flint, Michigan, where you worked at Mott Community College as a Fulbright resident. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journey arriving to Flint, and particularly Mott College, and what your role was at Mott College for the past year?
Okay. So I came here to America. It was my first time in the US. I came here with the program called Fulbright, which is funded by the American government. And I came to work in Flint, Michigan, at Mott Community College at the International Institute. So my role is to help to internationalize the institution through different ways, like creating partnerships with universities abroad and creating agreements, exchange agreements for students and faculty. I also collaborate with other departments and give different workshops about different topics. And mainly my task is based on helping students to see that there are a lot of opportunities overseas and informing them about scholarships, grants, internships, and everything that it might be beneficial for them in terms of exchange.
Okay, so you said this is the first time you visited the United States, and
Yeah.
how was it that you landed in Flint in particular, of all the places
Okay.
in the United States?
This is a very good question. Well, before me arriving to Flint, I was doing my research. And then I also watched a TV program from Spain called Spaniards Around the World. And there was one chapter about the Spaniards in Michigan. So I was like, wow, this is my chapter. I'm gonna watch all this and come to know what is Michigan all about. And then when I watched it, I was like, okay, weather seems very challenging. There was a story of a Spaniard who is like a truck driver, like a very big truck. And he was saying that during winter, the lakes of Michigan gets all frozen and he, with his huge truck, is able to cross the lake. And I was like, I'm going to die with this weather. How people manage. But then I arrived to Flint and it was totally fine. And yeah, I think it has been one of the first time in my life that during winter I don't get a cold. So that's a really big achievement for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, like also before when I arrived here, before me arriving here, I listened to people saying that, oh, in America you need a car, blah blah. But I was not fully aware about how important it is to have a car until I arrived here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you arrived to Flint, and it probably had something to do with Mott College. I mean, that was why you were here, and that's what you did your work with while you were here at Mott Community College. So aside from the weather, aspect of things, you were residing downtown Flint. I think you were while you were here.
Yes.
Within walking distance to Mott College.
Yes. Yes.
So how was that living in a downtown Flint?
It was excellent. It was very convenient because it's a safe place. I have the farmer markets nearby. I can go walking distance to the place where I work. And I live in Riverfront, and they have like a desk open 24 hours. There are other students, other international faculty. So it's really, there are common spaces. So yeah, it's very convenient. Nice, nice place to live in. And I gotta say that when I arrived, the weather was amazing in Michigan. It was.
What month did you arrive? What month? What month did you get here?
I arrived on the 28th of August, and it was sunny. It was warm, so it was really great.
Okay, yeah, you came at a good time,
Yeah, yeah.
So you could ease into the wintertime. But since this was your first visit to America and to work in an in a educational environment, what were some of your expectations coming here, specifically at the college? What were your expectations, and then what did you actually experience in contrast to your expectations, or did you have any?
Okay. Expectations with the college, you mean?
With the college, with the students, with the faculty, because I know you have a background working for educational institutions in Europe. So were there differences? Did you see commonalities?
Yeah, I could observe some differences with the students, and I was surprised that students here, for me, seems that they have this mindset that they have to pay for everything, and every opportunity, or if they want to study abroad, it has to go through payment. And that's a difference between European students. European students, I would say that they are more aware about all the opportunities that they are there, and they have a different mindset in terms that they know that there are many scholarships or programs that they can apply for. And that's one of the purpose why I was serving here in Mott Community College, to create this kind of exchange programs. So if I am a student from Mott and there is this exchange program already created, me paying the fees here in Mott, I will have the option to study one academic year abroad, but I don't have to pay extra fees abroad.
Okay.
And the credits I do overseas will be automatically transferred in my home institution. So I was aware that in that sense, yeah, like the college was not that developed, and I think in general, community college in America, they don't have, most of them, they don't have international programs. And then therefore students, they are not aware about all the opportunities. Also, by them being Americans and being English native speakers, they have like huge power that I realized that they were not aware of.
Like what? What do you mean by power? What do you mean?
Power in terms that you are an English native speaker. You can teach English all over the world, and you have plenty of options. Like English is the universal language, is the language of internet, is the language of business, is the language of medicine, research. And by knowing English, you have the entire world at your feet. And I think they are not aware of that. And also foreigners, they see still America as the first superpower and a place where you can grow, where they have this practical mentality and they work professionally. So you can work remotely for a foreign company, you can go abroad being American, and I think they are not fully aware about the value they have of having American nationality and being English native speakers. I thought that that will be something that they all are aware of, and I realized that no.
Okay, so that was a big surprise to you, learning that.
So I was trying to tell them, like, you have a big power by being American. It's like a great tag worldwide that you should use on your benefit.
Okay, all right. So, so would you say that's one of the shortcomings that you observed about the environment, the academic environment, particularly at Mott, because it is a college, and I think at universities there is more of an understanding and awareness about the exchange, the international type programs. But what would you say is the benefit for Americans and American students to have that exchange experience, that international experience throughout their educational process?
Well, I can talk about my personal experience whenever I have been when I was an exchange student in the past, or even right now that I'm not an exchange student, but I'm living in a foreign country. I think whenever you go abroad, that's a learning experience. And when you live overseas, that's a learning experience in terms that you see how things are done in a different way than in your home country. So you open up your mind and you realize that, okay, there are other ways of thinking, there are other ways of operating, and it might have their pros and cons, but you should be smart enough to get with you and embrace for you what it works. And I think having an international experience as a student, as an exchange student, it always helps to think outside the box, increasing your adaptability skills. And when you are able to adapt, that will help you out personally and professionally in any field. And that will also increase your self-confidence. Like, okay, I was able to adapt here. I was able to learn. I was able to make friends here. So now I feel more confident for the next challenge, or, to scale up and going beyond.
As you return back to Europe from this past year, what have you personally gained from the experience being here for the last several months?
Well, I have gained a lot. Personally, I was not expected to meet such a great people. I really feel blessed that I met really, really nice people. And one of my biggest fear before me coming here was that, okay, I'm already not a student, I'm an adult. I'm 30 plus. I'm not gonna say how plus. And then I was like, okay, like people already of my age, they have their families, and which I understand. Um, I'm not married, I don't have kids, so it will be difficult for me to fit in. That was one of my biggest fear. And also at my age in Spain, like it's also difficult to meet new people that you match. And here, yeah, I think I was extremely lucky. I met really incredible people, and I yeah, I make like really friends for life. And also I was not expecting Americans to be so welcoming. I thought that as you guys are so international, I was like, I'm from Spain. It will be like, okay, you are not exotic enough. But I was surprised that people were very curious about Spain, why you are here, why are you in Flint. Yeah, personally, like I feel like really lucky, and I think also if somebody from abroad comes to Midwest, they will find the deep real America. And I think it's easier to meet people in smaller places rather than in big metros like New York. And here, like everyone know each other, it's easy to connect. So I will encourage people to come to Flint because it's easy to meet people.
Yeah. So since you were here, how many other places were you able to visit while you were in the States?
I went to New York, Boston, Florida, and Cleveland, and I don't know, and Miami.
In Miami. Okay, so you got some opportunities to make some comparisons,
Yeah.
obviously from the Midwest to the South to the East and etc. So, what was your experience and observations from major metropolitan areas versus, small town Midwestern communities?
Well, I went to New York, and like, even though I enjoyed it, but I think you need a lot of money to live there.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, and it's way easier to meet people in a smaller places, and also the living cost of accommodation is more affordable. And at the end of the day, I think it's all about people. And if you have like nice people around you, you will enjoy it. So I think in that sense, like Flint is a place where it is easy to meet people, and yeah, people can connect each other. And Flint has a site that is not like a tiny village where you are isolated, but it's also not like a huge metro. So it's like medium site. So in that sense, it's very convenient.
Okay, all right. So, so what advice would you have for anyone that's listening to this who might be considering participating in an exchange program at a college or university or high school for that matter? And so what would you, what words of advice would you give them if they were listening to this interview and were now curious about exploring that kind of opportunity?
I will definitely 100% encourage that person to participate in an exchange program. And I would also say that just do it if you are really convinced, like if you have some doubts. Okay, you should do it because you are convinced, not because your parents tell you, your teachers tell you, because you are convinced. And if that person has some doubt, I would say that it's a life opportunity. And yeah, even me before coming here, I was like, how things will go. I was having some uncertainty in my mind. But yeah, like life is about um, being able to overcome obstacles as well. And I think actually being abroad makes you smarter in terms that you have to adapt and you will learn different ways of doing things. And in that sense, you become more creative. And more creative means open up for new solutions. And when you know that you are more creative and you are able to adapt, you will have more self-esteem and more self-confidence, which it will help you out to sort out any issue and any hassle that you have later on.
Yeah. That was
And
so,
on top of, yeah, sorry.
go ahead.
No, and on top of that, you will enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it gives you more skills. It certainly
Yeah.
expands your skill sets and that are adaptable to any environment.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Personally and professionally.
Sure,
both.
sure.
Yeah.
And then finally, so share some of your more memorable experiences and impressions and observations that you had here in Flint. I know you were here for several months, but do you have any really memorable experience that stand out?
Yeah, I do have it. Like one of the things that I think I will always remember, and for me, that's like the heart and the spirit of America, is that actually when first time that I went to the Association of International Great Flint, and I experienced the concept that you guys have about immigration. So I think it was in October, November.
I think October.
Yeah. So it was at the beginning of my stay here. So we had this gathering to discuss about how we can help the community of Flint to become more, how you say, like economically developed through immigrants. So for me, that was a totally new concept. In that meeting, we had representatives from different sectors, people who work in education, people who work in law firms, in real estate, different fields. And the idea was that in that meeting, we will share ideas and we will make a plan in order to give back the economically development of Flint through immigration. So first of all, I was impressed because of two things. In Europe, or at least in Spain, we don't have this kind of meetings where civilians and people from the community gather and take this initiative. So that was something totally new for me, because these kind of things happen only in a higher scale for politicians, but not for people on the street and neighbors. So that was one thing that really impressed me, and I was like, wow, this looks like the heart of America, like this sense of community we don't have. And secondly, this concept of immigrants as a channel, as a tool to give growth and wealth to a place, that was totally new for me as well. Because in Spain, we have more this concept of, oh, an immigrant comes, so it's more like a burden, like you have to give them free stuff, you have to help them, but they don't provide anything to the community in terms of economically development.
Mhm.
I'm talking in general, but that's like the common view. And then when I was there and I was able to look at like people from different sectors and all really convinced that the way that we can give the life back to Flint is through international people, immigrants, that they are people who come here, they create their own jobs, they are entrepreneurs. I was like really amazed, and I was like, wow, this is really the spirit of America in terms of like people from all over the world who come here with this sense of, I'm gonna make something big, I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna fulfill my dream, and I'm gonna scale up. And we are welcome for everyone. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a place I like to be. And I think that's the real heart of America.
So that was the most impressional. That's so funny. And it's so good to hear you say that, because yeah, we're just planning along and not even thinking, not even aware that what we're looking at and how we look at immigration, would be different from other countries. Because, it is such a hot topic right now, of course, for immigration in itself. So, but yeah, thanks that, I didn't expect that to be one of your more memorable experiences, but thanks for sharing that. That's great. So is there anything else that you want to share about your experience that I haven't touched upon, or are you coming
Well,
back? No, I know what I'd like to know. So where is Mott now? Where are they now? Where do you leave them in terms of establishing an international curriculum or program?
so we have developed, we have signed up different MOUs. Sorry, for people who are not in the field, MOUs means like memorandum of understanding, like international agreements. And that means that hopefully for the next academic year, there will be different partnership agreements. So our students from Mott will have the opportunity to study in Spain in English language, so they don't have to worry about not knowing the language. And the studies they do there will be recognized back in Mott. We have also applied for European Union funds, and we are waiting for the resolution in July. And yeah, we have got like a huge, immense response from universities, not only in Europe, but in Asia, Latin America, because as I said, US has a name, and everyone wants to be aligned with the popular guy in the room. And the popular guy in the room so far is America. China wants to be popular as well and is competing. But right now, the popular guy in the room is American. Everyone wants to be friends with the popular guy. So in that sense, I see a Mott with a lot of potential. And I see that our students will go abroad paying no extra fees. And hopefully we get also the European Union Erasmus funds. And yeah, I think the Mott Community College has the entire potential to be groundbreaking and to be a reference community college in the entire country. Meaning that me as a student in Mott Community College, I know that by being enrolled in Mott Community College, I have a lot of possibilities to go abroad.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's great. Well, Maria, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience. And I don't know what your plans are from here. I think you're going back to Spain in the near
Yeah,
future.
yeah, I'll be back to Spain, And yeah, I just would like to say thank you. I have feel like really um, treated like really well while I was here in Flint. And actually, you guys spoiled me. Like now I'm gonna return to Spain and I'm gonna be just one more. So that's not,
Just another Spaniard, huh?
yeah, just another favorite Spaniel. So
Yeah, well, we hope that you come back to visit and kind of
I will, I will.
check in and see how we're doing. And the next time I'm in the neighborhood, I'll be sure to look you up.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
it was great talking with you.